YouTube, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Slot Is In There. And as you'll see, I'm not in the kitchen anymore. The illness gone from my family, which is great. But as usual, I have more boxes over here because, you know, life and garage leaking and so forth. So welcome back to my crummy room. But you're not here for that. You're here for the tech, the exciting, you know, tech that you love, and the retro gaming as always. And to help me once more on this journey, get my words out, as always, is my two co-hosts. It's David and Tim.
Hello.
How are we all this week? All okay?
Bloody marvelous.
Peachy, never better.
Peach,
That was good, wasn't it? We probably shouldn't have spoken at the same time.
It's all good, isn't it? I like your background you got going on there, Damien. We can see all your lovely art this time.
Yes, I've had a slight move over about 2 inch.
Well, you're no longer central, which is
Yeah. I'm working on it. So
going to be off-putting. But, you know, people have to tip their phones or tellies just to get him in the middle. Anyway.
No, don't tip it any further. I'm rolling.
And all good with you, Tim?
Yeah, everything's absolutely fine and dandy. Been playing some games, having some fun. All good.
That's life. It's brilliant. Brilliant. So let's get into it then.
In this week's episode, we help a viewer with their problem.
I know what I want.
Oh my god, it's gone all great.
And Tim slots it in there.
So it's the news, gentlemen. Who would like to... do you know what? I'm going to start this week. I will say who's going to start, and we have a debate about it. I'll just start. Okay. So this week, I've mostly been playing Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Now, this is an Xbox 360 game. And what really drew me to this is back in the day when it actually first came out, I played a demo. Now, first of all, can we all remember what demos are? Do you know when you got them for free and you tried a game and you didn't have to pay, what was it, $14.99 a month for the privilege of just trying a 2-hour taster of a game? Not talking about anyone Sony, but you know. But anyway, a demo, I played it on the Xbox. It was really good. Played first level. It's one of those games I've always meant to go back to. Because I'm like, oh, I like the look of that. And it was very expensive for a while to buy, but I got it really cheaply. But it's very exciting. If we all remember, does anyone remember? I can't remember what it was called. It's like Monkey. It was a TV series in the 1980s.
Yeah.
I was singing the theme tune, Monkey Magic. You probably get copyrighted for that one little terrible bit. But yeah, it was really good. And it was very sort of, it's based actually, the story is based on Odyssey to the West or something, Journey to the West, a Japanese story. It's a very old text. And we know over here as Monkey. And the TV series is based on that. Well, this game is basically based on that. It's in the sort of futuristic. It's by the same company that did Hellblade, and Hellblade 2 is coming out soon, Ninja Theory. So that really grew me, which I didn't know as soon as I started playing it. I thought, this is really good. And it's quite quirky and good like that. And like I say, if you like the TV series and the story, it gets really cool as you go along. It is based in the future, but the bit like in one of the levels when they go, you can get your cloud out. I got really excited if you've seen TV series because that's like really cool. He gets to ride a little cloud. It's very exciting.
Do you do the bit and it suddenly appears like in the film?
Well, no, but I was just excited because I thought, oh, this is based on it, but it's obviously the future. It can't be as cool. And go, you got a cloud. I'm like, oh my God, I got a cloud. Because I get very excited over stupid things. But it's really good. And the brilliant thing of it as well is it's got Andy Serkis, who obviously played Gollum and several other things, King Kong and all that lot. And he just randomly appears in some little cutscenes. And at the minute, because I haven't finished the game, you're like, what's going on? So I'll sort of go, the gameplay is a bit repetitive, I'm finding, but I'm intrigued to carry on and complete the game because every so often you just get these scenes of like Andy Serkis just appearing in these weird images and like, what is going on? I really need to know what Andy wants to tell me at the end. So I'm continuing with that. But that's what I've been playing. I'd highly rate it. It is quite good. Like I say, it can be quite expensive at times, but I found it quite cheaply, so it's one to pick up. Let's move on we'll go to Tim this time. Tim, what have you been playing or newsworthy this week?
Well, I've been playing DayZ. Now, DayZ is a very odd kind of game because it's a sort of, it's arguably like a zombie game, but it isn't really zombies. I mean, the DayZ, a lot of people think that the Z or Z, as we say here in the UK, stands for zombie, but it isn't. It's infected, really. And the Z in this game stands for zero. So it's day zero, and it's a very bleak survival game, heavy emphasis on the survival. You have to deal with the infected as they come up, and generally any area on the map which would be considered like a town or a city or a hamlet or anything like that, you'll probably run into these things, and they are a nuisance, but they're not particularly challenging. What is challenging is, of course, the map is also filled with lots of other players, and those players are out for the same things that you're out for, i.e. tins of beans, weapons, whatever it may be. The amount of detail that goes into this game in terms of how you interact with it, it's not like playing a standard first-person shooter where you press R for reload. This is a game where you actually have to put the gun in your hands, take the clip out of the gun, then reload bullets into the magazine before you can then put it back into the gun and then engage again. So it's a very slow burn game. There's a lot of running around and navigating because the maps are huge, and there's a lot of player-made content out there. So there's maps that have been made by the players. So there's a lot of different things to pick from.
It sounded
Nice.
interesting until it sounded too realistic with loading your gun. Does that not drive you insane? That sometimes in games you're like, there's realism, and then we just don't need that realism. It's like...
it changes the pace of the game, and it changes the kind of strategies that you employ in it. So you have to think more carefully about how you approach things or what weapons you're going to choose. You know, some guns don't have a magazine and you actually load the bullets into the gun. Some guns like the Blaze or the Tundra, you just put bullets into the end of the barrel, clip the barrel shut, and then you've got your sniper rifle there. Like I say, it is a very different pace of game. It's a lot more tactical, a lot more strategy, and a lot less just running and gunning. You have to be pretty patient to play it.
Sounds good,
Yes.
but not my sort of game. Sounds interesting, but not my sort of game at all. Brilliant. And Damien, what have you been up to?
Well, I've had a little trundle over onto Game Pass, and on there I found one of my favorite games from back on the 360, which was Gears of War, but it's the HD remastered and basically smothered with Coalition stuff. And I've been playing that, and it's still brilliant, still absolutely amazing. Run and gun, use the chainsaw bayonet. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. An amazing story behind it, especially if you go over the original three parts. So if you finish 1, go to 2, and finish with 3. Personal kind of ideas and thoughts: do not go past 3. 4 and 5 are pretty dire, but yeah, I've started going through the trilogy again, if you like. So I've started with the original Gears of War with its HD remix, and it's still brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And that's been mine.
It's good. No, Gears of War are good. I've only played the original trilogy, and I know you're going through it again, and I won't do it for spoilers, but I found first one was good, had some atmospheric bits in it. Second one was quite good, had some good emotional scenes for the sort of that it is, the sort of game that it is. Number 3, all I can remember for number 3, I still won't spoil it too much, is someone getting very emotional about their tomatoes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I took away from 3. So it was a nice trilogy, but after the emotion of 2, you get to 3 and you're a bit like...
I'll be honest with you, I was a bit jolted with the third one with the gas station moment. I'm not going to explain anything, but that moment, that was a key moment where it was like, oh my God, that's happened in it.
Yeah. So
but yeah,
I suppose they had to wrap it up some way because it was supposed to be a trilogy, but it was a bit like, okay.
But those games, if you get chance, if you've got the Game of Pass, definitely go on, get that, give it a go. Obviously, it's got blood, violence, and gore, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
It's good. Have you played it, Tim, at all? Any of them?
I have a suspicion that I've never played a Gears of War game. I think I might have played 10 minutes on somebody else's console or something like that once upon a time, but I've always been aware of them, but never got around to playing one.
Well, disappointed in you, Tim.
I won't say it's as realistic as the game you described, really. It's pretty much just good in there. I mean,
Yeah.
your gun does jam, doesn't it? A bit. If I recall.
It does. It does. If you
It jams. So there's that realism that it could jam.
yeah, if
You
you
know,
don't
when
time
you
That
get
happens
an
in
onslaught of aliens attacking you in normal
yeah,
circumstance.
if you
that
don't time the
happens in
active reload, it
I was gonna
ruins it.
Yeah.
that happens in Daisy as well. Your gun can jam, but can you get cholera in your game? I think you'll find Daisy's pretty unique in that one. You drink dirty water, cholera.
If I was gonna play a game like that, I think I'd go back to was it Far Cry 2, where you walk 100 yards and then you've got malaria.
It's too much. There's too much realism in these games now. It's just like, no.
Yeah, so I was trawling my way across eBay and looking for odd little bits of hardware or something useful or something fun to be playing with. I came across a computer that was listed spares and repairs. So I had a look at the description. The guy that was selling it very kindly put as much information as he could, which is always great and always a good hint if you're selling something on eBay. Explain what the problem is, and then somebody might be able to come along who knows what that kind of problem is and be able to solve it. So I bought this computer after possibly getting run up a little bit on the price, and then got the computer. So this is a video of me seeing if I can figure out what's wrong with it. I saw a listing for a broken computer on eBay. The seller said that Windows kept freezing, and when he tried to reinstall Windows, he got stuck at about 6%. Here's a picture of the computer from his listing on eBay. Here's a picture of Windows freezing, and here's a picture of the blue screen of death. So I figured, what the heck, I threw some money at it, and it arrived. Given the description of the problems that he was facing, I'm assuming this is actually going to be a relatively easy fix. I've marked out a few ideas, some ways to diagnose, and let's just see how it goes. Plug in a keyboard with trackpad, plug in HDMI, plug in audio, plug in power, power it on. I was immediately met with automatic startup repair. I tried this a few times just to make sure that it wasn't a one-off. Unfortunately, I was greeted with this on every occasion. I started to consider the possibilities of what might be wrong with this machine, starting with the hard drive, or SSD in this case. It's possible that the drive is just failing due to age and overuse. Another possibility is its connection between the drive and the motherboard. Or it could be something like power to the drive itself. Before going down the hardware route, I thought it might be a good idea to try resetting the operating system. It's worth noting that if you intend to sell a computer on eBay, make sure that you either remove the hard drive or do a low-level format on it before selling it. There's always the possibility that you might leave stored passwords or personal data on these drives, so it's important to make sure that you scrub that information before giving it to somebody else. This particular eBayer is lucky to have sold to me because I follow ethical practices and make sure that I've removed all of his data. At this point, I inserted a thumb drive with Windows 10 installation media on it, in the hope that this would allow me to repair the operating system. After booting from USB, rather than selecting Install Now, I selected Repair Your Computer. Then I selected Use a Device and chose the USB stick. Unfortunately, it just booted from the USB stick again, so this time I chose Install Now. I just wanted to do a quick setup, so I chose I don't have a product key, Windows 10 Pro. I accept the license, custom install, and then removed the partitions. Created a new partition and installed. It got past 6%, which had me quite optimistic. But then it got stuck at 64. And ultimately errored out. So I checked out the error code, and this confirmed my suspicions about the hard drive wearing out. So, time to do some manual labour. I decided to tackle the simplest thing first. I figured removing the SATA cable and replacing it would be the quickest thing to do. I just undid a couple of screws to remove the side of the case. And then we could have a quick look at the internals. I'm quite impressed that the previous user of this computer kept it so clean. Normally you're chasing dust bunnies around the insides of these cases. The cable disconnected from the drive. Then I struggled a little bit to figure out which cable was which on the motherboard. And I then couldn't get my finger on the tab in order to pull it out. In the end, I opted to pull out both cables, as it was easier. I quickly had to dive off to find a replacement SATA cable. Found a known working one and plugged it into the motherboard and into the back of the SSD. Some dubious cable management. And let's go off and test it. Power it back on. It loaded into BIOS this time, now because I've removed the operating system, but it was fortunate because it allowed me to check the boot order. Once again, we booted from USB, chose install now. I don't have a product key, Windows 10 Pro, accept the license, custom install, and remove the existing partitions. Now, it's not actually necessary to create a new partition, so I just click next. This time we got past that 64%. And made it all the way through to 100. The computer rebooted. and allowed me to run through all the setup options for Windows. After another quick reboot, I created a user account, went through the various questions that it asks, selected my preferred options, and we finally made it through to Windows Desktop. The first thing to do is to run Windows updates. While that happens, I just wanted to jump into system information to get a quick overview of things, and also to find out what graphics card it had in it. Which turned out to be a Radeon RX 550. Quick Google search, well, Bing search in this case, and we find the drivers. Install the drivers, now it should be noted this graphics card is nothing special, but I'm not worried because I didn't pay much for it. I'm just curious to see how it performs. The screen flicks on and off a few times while the drivers install. And a quick reboot later, we are back into Windows 10. Everything seems to be functioning exactly as expected. I just thought I'd do a quick test with HD Tune because I wasn't convinced entirely that that hard drive was working as it should be. So I've just sped up these tests as they take a little bit of a while. And everything passes fine. Just checking the health, everything's showing as okay. Now I'm just doing a full disk scan. Green is good, red would be bad. And it looks like that disk is perfect. After all of that, it must have just been that one cable. But that won't stop me from running a few extra stress tests. First of all, I just want to pick up Specky so I can keep an eye on the temps. And everything looks nice and cool, especially considering there's just a stock cooler on that CPU. It's only an Intel Pentium Gold G5400, but all the same, 30 degrees is 30 degrees. Next up, I'll pick up Furmark and do a little stress test on the graphics card and make sure we don't have any problems there. And while Furmark is installing, we'll have a quick look for Cinebench R23 so that we can stress test the CPU. Quickly run through the installation of Furmark. And we'll just set that off going on a short test. Don't get excited about the speeds. That's just sped up footage. 14 frames a second with a max temp of 48 degrees. That's fine. Now quickly install Cinebench, but we have to extract it first. The extraction was taking a little bit of a while, so I got curious about the CPU temperatures. Here we can see it's sitting around 43 degrees, which is absolutely fine. Now we've got Cinebench loaded up, we'll just start off that stress test. This test takes about 10 minutes, so I've just sped up the footage here. I just wanted to keep an eye on that CPU temperature, which pretty much flattens out at 60 degrees, so it's possible it's just thermal throttling. After completing the test, we can see that we're not exactly dealing with a super duper chip, but it's perfectly adequate for maybe doing a bit of emulation. And that's something that perhaps I'll look at in another video with this machine. Now we can close everything down and consider ourselves the winners. So after all of that, I was expecting, there to be all sorts of little problems, little things that could be thrown up as obstacles. I had a little plan in my head of all the different things that I could look into, all the little tests that I could run. And after all of that, it was a single SATA cable. And that was it. Just one dodgy SATA cable. When you actually look at the video, you can see that the way that they had stretched the SATA cables meant that they were tightly curved at either end, which sort of pinched them up a little bit, and presumably that's probably done a little something to the internal copper wiring, and that's all it was. And it just wasn't staying connected because of that. I happen to have a spare SATA cable lying around, as I'm sure we all do. We've got drawers full of these things. I certainly do. And plug that in. Jobs are good.
So you just slotted that in there, and
I slotted that cable in there, and it worked a treat.
nice.
Yeah. Well, at least our message is getting across. That's
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah,
here for,
absolutely.
isn't it?
It does. It does make a change that you actually get something that stipulates on eBay the actual problems they were having, rather than these virtual ones. And when you get it, you actually find out there is more to it than what they told you about. So you've done well there, Tim. Really well.
So I was interested to get your thoughts on movies, TV shows that have been turned into video games over the course of the story's existence. Because I know that video games, or movies that have been converted to video games, have typically not necessarily done very well, because they're normally just sort of an afterthought put up by the studio, largely because they want to make an extra buck, and they can do that by selling some video games and also draw attention to the movie, and that's more or less why a lot of those get made. But occasionally something truly brilliant gets through the cracks. And do you guys have a favorite, or a least favorite? I'd be curious to see what you guys come out with.
Ooh. There are many with this one. There are very many.
I was going to say, do you want to start then, Damien?
I was going to say, because you've got stuff back in the 80s when Ocean Software were a large pusher of software titles. And you had many renditions of Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. I remember playing those on the old Amstrad CPC 464 and the Spectrum, and they were for the age of those devices, they were really good. Ghostbusters 2 was quite good as well.
The
from
thing
what I
about
remember.
Ghostbusters 2, if you didn't know, because I've read about this in a magazine, a certain magazine, is basically they didn't know. They only got given the script. They hadn't seen the film. We just got 3 scenes. So there's 3 different sections, I believe, in the game
Yeah.
that they got described to them and go, this is what we're after. So they had to go away and make it without knowing what the hell the scene looked like
Anything.
in the film. And then literally it had to be made, obviously ready for release when the film came out in cinema. So then they went to the cinema and go, oh, thank goodness we did a good job. We got it sort of right.
We
And that's
got it
how-
in that ballpark.
we got it right. So actually, it's interesting you actually say Ghostbusters 2 is good because I thought loads of people would be like wrong, but they were quite surprised they got it right. But that's why early 80s stuff, was the practice. They never let people actually see the source material. So that's why you get loads of games that have no relation to the film or key scenes aren't in it because you're just like, what? But yeah. But
Yeah, and then you've got your for me the Terminator ones. Some of those were okay. Some of them were just a dire mess. But yeah, I think nearly every franchise, late 80s, mid 90s, as soon as they were kicking out a film, a game came along with it. So yeah, RoboCop, another one. In fact, there's a new RoboCop coming, so it'd be nice to see what that looks like when it's finally pushed out.
Wasn't there a version of RoboCop from the 80s? And I can't remember which system it's on. You couldn't actually complete. Couldn't you get past level 4? Wasn't there such a big game-breaking fault or something in it? I don't know.
I'm
I'm
trying to
afraid
think.
I don't remember
Well,
that.
I've just read about
But-
it again, so I'm sure wasn't there a fault in that game, but you couldn't get past it. But there you go. A bit like Smash TV. On a separate note, that it didn't actually have a proper ending, is it? So it just got ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
It didn't actually, but yeah, and then they chuck something on at the end. But yeah. Anyway, if you don't know, you don't know because I can't remember names. But yeah. But some obviously classics I can think of is you've got to think of GoldenEye on the N64.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
and that was a literal game changer, that one.
that was, yeah. And they put so much, it came like 2 years, was it, after the actual film was out? Because they actually spent the time doing it. But it followed the film really well, the story. And obviously the multiplayer was a game changer and everything, wasn't it? So that's a good example.
Probably one of the best. Yeah.
And I'd quite frankly say Aladdin on the Mega Drive was, I know it's a bit of a curveball, but that is actually a really good game and follows the story really well.
The Lion King, one of the hardest games
One of the
to
hardest.
complete.
But it was designed to be hard because they knew loads of people rented it over the weekend. They didn't want it to complete it. So it was designed purposely hard because Nintendo and
Evil Corp.
evil. But yeah. So yeah. But yeah, they're quite good. I like you say the Terminator games. I like Terminator 2, the arcade game. Was a pretty good one, and that followed the film really well. I'm going off for follow the film. Obviously, you might not like the mechanics, but I thought I enjoyed that as a game and felt it went really well.
Yeah, that was on point for the age of the years gone by, kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, some other examples I enjoyed, like Universal Soldier, the game on the Mega Drive. But the reason actually it's so good is actually it's Turrican 2, and they just hey, yeah.
I was going to say, actually, it wasn't its own game.
It wasn't its own game.
From another one.
It's ripped from another one with the odd level has a different skin on it for soldiers from Universal Soldiers. But the game I really enjoyed until you found out actually the reason I'm enjoying it is it's another game completely they've nabbed. So, is that a good example of a conversion? Not really, but yeah.
I think one of the worst ones I can remember was Alien 3 on the I had it on the Game Gear. Just
No.
was horrific. Yeah, other Alien games they're quite good, Colonial Marine and that kind of thing, but they're not actually set after the films. They're set in the world, if you like.
Is it Colonial Marine? Oh, it's all gone dark.
Don't mean having a power cut.
I wish.
Isn't it Colonial Marine that has the game-breaking bug in it?
It also has a bug that is quite unique for it.
But when people actually fixed it and modded it on the PC version nowadays, it's absolutely a brilliant game when they actually found out what the problem was. But the original one's absolutely terrible. But so I don't know. Yeah, I know these things about games, whether they're any good. Don't play them. But yeah, have you got some examples then, Tim? We're talking over you.
Oh yes.
Ooh.
No, you're not talking over me. I'm fascinated.
Strap in.
I when I started looking into this, because I was thinking, I'll have a little bit of a dig through and see if I can find some examples, and I was suddenly reminded of probably one of the very first games that I ever played. I mean, aside from like Duck Hunt and Pong, one of the very first games that I played was The Great Escape on the Spectrum. I don't know if you guys ever played that. I seem to recall it being a real nuisance, spending all my time going to roll call. I was like, oh, God, roll call again, roll call. But there was 1986 that was released. And that was an absolutely brilliant game that obviously graphically was never going to be fantastic because of the time that it was released. But the story was there, all the problem solving that you had to go through in order to get out of the prison was just astonishing. Yeah, it was a really, really good game. I don't know if either of you played that. Or...
Yeah, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but yeah.
The
Star Wars games.
Oh. Well, I was about to say nobody mentioned Star Wars X-Wing because that was one of the first of the great Star Wars games. There also in the Star Wars universe, we've still got things like Knights of the Old Republic, which was a huge game. I don't know if either of you played that. It took me forever to get to the end of that one.
I've literally last night started Knights of the Old Republic and played that an hour. And that's my RPG, because I'll try an RPG and try it, because the leveling system is, do you want to tweak it all, or do you just want us to do it? I just want you to do it. I can get with that game. But it's quite good. But is that based on a film? It's in the universe.
It's in the universe.
It's happening to you. What's going with your lights now?
Just because my screen came on.
Shall I ever go as well? There we go. Feel like we've all had a go now. One more from the Star Wars universe. It was one that I used to play with an old mate of mine, Bill. If you're watching, Bill, hi mate, how you doing? Love you. And we used to play Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. You know, the pod racing game.
Pod Racer.
Oh, that was so much fun.
That was graphically good for its time as well.
Yeah,
that was
it really
very
was
good.
And you really got that impression of speed as well, which was sort of essential for that game, really, because you're supposed to be going crazy fast. I've got a few more notable mentions and see if either of you guys have played any of these. So we've got I know one of them Damien's played, because Starship Troopers, the new Starship Troopers Extermination game. Obviously, it's still in early access. There's still a lot to come out. I know
that's a very good demo at the minute.
Yes, it's a very good demo, and I mean, based on the roadmap that they're laying out, I'm expecting great things from it. Hopefully, they'll stay with it, but I think it's a labor of love. So I doubt they're going to just bail on it. I think they're going to keep pushing and give us new territories to explore and new scenarios to encounter. The next one is arguably based on a film, Carmageddon, Death Race 2000.
Is it?
Do you think it is? No, I don't know whether it is or not. The only thing that I'm thinking is I and it's been a long time since I've seen the film Death Race 2000, but I'm reasonably sure that at some point in the film they do say the line, or just at the beginning of a race, for those who are about to die, we salute you. And in Carmageddon, that line is said at the beginning of each race.
Unless it was based on it and they just couldn't use, because they didn't have the license for the name.
Wasn't Carmageddon out before Death Race 2000?
There was actually a video game called Death Race made in 1976.
Oh, well,
I remember that. I remember that.
And it looked sort of Pong-like graphics, you know.
Huge controversy over that one. Huge.
I can imagine.
It was, they had to change some of the characters to make them look like monsters so that it could be sold in Europe, I believe. And there was some other alterations needed for when you run the beast. The people over there was little tombstones that appeared, and
they had to do something similar with Carmageddon, actually, because they had to replace all the standard pedestrians with zombies so that it was fine. There were all sorts of mods that you could just sort of put back into the game where you actually get the pedestrians back and that kind of stuff. Whether that's ethical or not is entirely at everybody else's discretion. But yeah, that one was an interesting one. I've got 3 more games that I'll mention, and then after that, I'm done. Okay, Shadow of Mordor. Anybody played that?
Yep.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
It's supposed to be good.
And Shadow of War.
And Shadow of War. Yeah. I haven't played the second one, but I have played Shadow of Mordor. And interestingly, with a very similar combat system, Batman Arkham City was incredibly good as well.
Arkham Asylum was also very good. They were both brilliant games to play, especially the stealth options in there. Brilliant.
What films are they based on? Just to be devil's advocate, what films? Now, if you want to talk about Batman Returns, now the Batman Returns on the SNES is awesome. As a side scroller, it's like Streets of Rage, but you're Batman.
What was the one that had on the Mega Drive?
We had Batman Returns on Mega Drive, but it was a totally different game because, again, this was the brilliance that games companies made different ones. So, was it Capcom that did the SNES one where it's sort of like a beat 'em up you go across that I love? Whereas the one on the Mega Drive, I don't know who made. It's not as good. It's a nice little platform, don't get me wrong, but it's totally different. But yeah,
I have a feeling that the Batman Arkham City and Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum are based more on the animated films than they are the
I've not
live
watched the
action
animated
films.
film, so I will bow to your knowledge. Ooh,
I haven't either, but I know somebody who has.
We'll get around it that way. It's based on that then.
Last silly film to game conversion, Enter the Matrix. Have either of you played that?
You wash your mouth out.
Yeah. I won't say it's a good game, to be honest.
It was pretty dreadful. But some of the combat mechanics did actually work quite well, especially when you learned that the guns are more or less useless, and that if you just do everything with dodging bullets and cartwheeling around the place, actually you could do a lot more damage that way. And once you figured that out, the game actually gets to be a bit more fun. But it wasn't great.
Yeah. Let's not forget the best game. We've highlighted all these good ones, but clearly the best game that came from a film was E.T. on the Atari. And the reason that was the best game, the terrible game that one person had to do in 3 weeks that Spielberg wouldn't give him any guidance on or anything, is because it crashed the industry, and then it made the industry we have now, which is good. So it's got to be the best conversion, hasn't it? Just to say, yay, we're in a good state now.
I've actually got a paradox one for you.
Oh, go on then.
Street Fighter.
What
From
came
the
first?
film, so the beat 'em
film
up,
or the game?
Yeah, that shouldn't work, should it? But it did happen.
Yeah, the movie was based on the game, and then they brought out a game that was based on that movie,
and the fighting was awful in it. But then again, the fighting was awful in the film. So then, was it actually a good conversion from the film?
It was accurate.
Accurate. So yeah, we can't say, hey.
Yeah. Ooh, Inception on that one.
Once again, it's that time of the show where we get a viewer's letter or email, because we're current, and try and solve their problem, basically, and how to fix it through the only way we know how, which is through computer games and everything. So this week's letter, we'll get straight into it. Here it goes. To the slot in there, guys. I've enjoyed watching your episodes, and I'm a big retro gaming fan like you guys seem to be. My favourite games are early 90s arcade games, with Mortal Kombat being my favourite. Playing these games has inspired me to try and make my own game to try and bring some joy to people that are willing to be part of this broken world we live in currently, where it feels all the disasters caused by nature around the world, even Mother Nature is out to teach and control the human race. My friends have always told me I was special, and when I grow up could produce a cure for all the hatred in the world, and I think this is how I will achieve this. I was wondering if you could help me decide what sort of game to make, though, as I really cannot decide. Fighting games like Mortal Kombat seems an obvious style to choose, but there is enough fights to death in the real world nowadays. Battle Royale games seem popular, but again there also seems to be a lot of senseless killing in the world these days as well. Infection games with zombies in them are really cool, but after the spread of virus over the recent years, it might hit a bit of a nerve with people. I really don't know which genre to choose, as they all seem a bit controversial for people to enjoy. So my question to you is, should I make a fighter, shooter, or zombie game? Your friend Ellie.
I know what I want.
Oh my god, he's gone all grease.
He's going
Zombie is all the way for me.
Zombies always
all the
Tim.
way.
That was a quick one.
No arguments here. I've just talked about DayZ. Yeah, infected, but zombies. They're zombies.
Brilliant. Well, as you'll guess, we'll have to do all three of us will have to play this week's game because we got three options. Tim's gone for zombies already, so that leaves fighter or shooter. Which one would you like, Damien?
It's a tough one to choose from them two. Because I quite like
Got to do it Games Master style. I'm in a beat 'em up mood.
Actually, yeah, I'm going to go with the fighter. I'm going to go with the Street Fighter Mortal Kombat.
I would have gone with fighter because that seems what Ellie likes anyway. So that seems an obvious choice to me because I can see a point. They're all a bit controversial in today's society, but that's fine. I will go with shooter then. So I'm going for shooter if I win. Ellie's going to make a fighter if Damien wins, and if Tim wins, it's a zombie game. But we need to find out what game we are playing this week, and who's going to tell us about it? Shall we have Tim? Tim, you're going to tell us what game we're playing?
Yeah, all on Tim.
All on Tim. Well, to be fair,
Sure.
shall we have Damien tell us?
Why not?
Damien's done
Yeah, I was going to say Damien knows more about it
so
than I do.
we need to tell us, Damien, tell us what game we're playing.
Well, this week we're going to be relaxing, chilling, and getting behind a golf club. We're going crazy golf. We're going to golf around. And it literally will just be standard putt rules. Lowest score on the hole wins the round. Whoever wins all 18 holes decides the outcome. Easy.
Easy peasy. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Couldn't be
Brilliant.
simpler.
Well, let's get into it. I'll get it all set up. Okay, so what are the rules first of all? The winner wins. Whoever gets the lowest number, isn't it, wins?
Yes,
Yeah,
the lowest.
lowest number of shots wins.
Jolly good. Right, let's go.
No.
We're all wide. Oh,
See where I am.
Use the scroll wheel. Zoom in and out.
There you go. That's just already you had more information than me, right? There's a scroll wheel. Okay.
no!
Oh dear. Oh.
A good effort.
See, when we practiced this, I made the mistake of running into the back of Chris.
Oh, bloody corkscrew thing again.
Oh.
Yes, I'm in it.
I'm in it.
Oh, darn it. I'm just not getting in it. Oh, this is my game.
Bye, Tim. Bye.
Oh, you absolute.
There you
Well,
go.
about like 5 shots to get in the thing. Well, that's me done.
But you made it now.
Well, it depends. It depends on how much chaos I cause.
Goodness me, that's a bad one for an early hole. Oh my.
No. What was that? What was that? They should make this an e-sport.
People are tuning in and watch.
Yeah. Move it to bread. You. Damn your eye out. Dirt bag.
I may have done myself a disservice here.
Good. Take more shots. I'm going to do it that way for a change.
So,
Hit the bread.
Oh, I was pleased with that. That's good. Let's see if I can make the hole. Oh, you.
yeah. I was trying to help.
I help.
That was all right. It's just like.
It's tight.
Like a tweaker.
Round and round the hole. Oh, I nearly made it. God damn it.
Oh, that was too much. Too much.
I've got too much. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Oh, I was going to help.
No.
Damien's in the lead. Oh god, it's
Yeah,
this one.
boy. I'm going for. Oh. Right, back again. No.
Oh,
Oh no.
No.
No. Oh. Oh, seriously.
oh, that'll do. I'm in it, but I've got to go around again, so that's okay. Handle that. Oh, you're in
hello.
with me. Hello.
Hi. Hold on. How? What?
I
How
went
did you
flying
get-
past and went on the other side, but what are you doing?
Bouncing about?
Well,
Bouncing
Doing,
about?
doing, doing, doing.
I'm going in.
Oh,
Going in.
no.
Going in. No, I'm going
No,
in.
you're not.
Ooh.
Oh, dear.
Time
Close,
now.
though.
Ooh. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh no, I don't want to go in this hole. Oh.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go in that hole.
Bit more picky with the holes you go in.
Oh, you. Darn you.
Ooh,
That's the hole.
blimey. That's a long way
Don't
to
want to go in
go.
that hole.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
Spalosh.
This hole, this hole, this hole. Oh.
That's
That's
the
it, you're
one.
going back.
Yeah,
That'll do.
Is that right hole? Oh,
that's the one.
okay.
Full pout. Full
Just
send.
20 shot.
Oh,
No.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
why is there so many
Try-
holes?
Try and wall ride it. It's a golf course.
Ooh.
Oh, going
Ooh,
in.
that-
Oh, just
That was
tease
well
me
paced,
by
though.
the flag. Well, that's done me in a bit. Hmm.
Stop. Put the brakes on.
Ah, yeah.
Sorry, saw an opportunity, took it. Oh, you missed.
No, I've helped you.
Oh, I missed the hole
Oh,
again.
I've made things considerably worse for myself. And this is not going to help.
Oh dear, I think you've done it again.
Can I? No, that's made it.
Ooh.
All right. No, don't do that again.
It's
All
not
right.
the closest to the corner. It's in that hole with the flag. just to clarify the actual goal here.
There we go. Oh, 7.
Oh no, came bouncing back.
Yeah,
Too aggressive. Okay.
Ah.
Oh,
how did you get that?
hooray.
Go on. Oh,
Oh, bloody chicken. Oh, someone nudged me into a chicken. Oh, God.
that was rather gentlemanly. Here we go. Come on.
Why is it you always make it through there and I don't?
It's all about the angles. Morning angle.
Oh,
Oh, try harder. Really push.
bear down.
Oh, it's close. It's tight. It's nice and tight. No. Nearly.
Oh no.
Gotta be a way to do this.
Coming
without
back.
No.
We're in. That's all right.
We're all in it. Come on.
In it to win it.
I just slotted in there.
Oh, you just doesn't like me going.
I'm giving
out.
chase. Rah. Ah. Why isn't it race mode?
I like the Fozzics.
Yes, the Fozzics are great. Oh, that's sneaky. I didn't know you could do that.
Do what?
Oh,
You didn't see
I can't.
nothing. It didn't do me any favours, by the way.
Oh no, where am I again? I'm in the corner.
We're both in the corner. No.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you lucky sod.
Played for. Right, we need to do something because he's going to win.
He's gonna win now. I don't know.
No, this can't happen. Oh, I'm in. Round it. How did you just... Physics.
Oh, no.
Oh, you.
I see you hiding there, Bear.
Cheers, buddy.
I'm not very
Brown
good
bear,
at.
middle pocket.
I'm not very good at causing havoc, am I?
No, you've been too helpful.
Oh,
No!
look at that.
Fear me.
Oh, Damien wins then. Damien wins it.
This makes me very angry.
Yeah, I saw the win in my mind.
I'm having a bit of a cry now.
It's all right. You're
All
only
right.
a loser.
Thanks, mate.
That's
Appreciate
fine.
Damien won it.
Yes, I did. I am God. Bow to me, peasants.
It's good. I think there was a bit of fluke at the end. It was quite close. It's quite
It-
close.
It had moments. There was
Had moments.
juggling ups and downs. It was good. It was close.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be some adjudication on this. There
You
was
lost,
definitely
Tim.
some foul play.
You lost, Tim. Just take it. All right.
Yeah.
Loser. Loser.
Hate you so much, Damien.
Oh dear.
Kisses
But-
to you too.
Out of all of this, the true winner is Ellie because now she knows which game she's going to be making, and because Damien won, she's going to be making a fighter game. So there you
Absolutely.
go. And we'll all be looking forward to this lovely fighter game in the future, especially if it's like Mortal Kombat, because that rules. All good. So here we go at the end of another exciting episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll try and remember to tell you to like, subscribe, ring the bell, because I did forget the bell all the time. I remember this time. Ring the bell for notifications when we go live.
Comments. Leave comments.
Comments. God, see, I was too fascinated by the bell. I thought,
Tickle
I've got to remember
the
the
bell.
bell. Tickle the bell. Right, that's your bit. Anyway, and comments. Yes, write something down below. We will get back to you. One of us will. But yes, interacting, because that's what YouTube's about. You talking to us talking to you. Not messing about and being silly playing games. That's not what YouTube's about. But no. But anyway, on that blue screen of death, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from them.